The nickmercs drama. This all started when nickmercs, faze nickmercs, would reply to this tweet. This tweet was quote retweeting this tweet. And this tweet said, anti-LGBT protesters attack pro-LGBT demonstrators outside of Glenade, California school board meeting. The school board is voting on recognizing June as Pride Month. And this is the video of the riot. What the fuck? Yo, average NA residents, man. What is this? This is not TOS, right? And then the quote tweet, this guy said, this happened 4 blocks from my Overwatch League apartment. Americans are in a sad place right now. Let people love who they love and live your own life. Where Mr. nickmercs would reply to this saying, they should leave little children alone. That's the real issue. Okay, so then, nickmercs would respond to this tweet.
I just don't think it's any place for a teacher or a school. I don't think it's the place to speak about things like that. And it's not that I think that it shouldn't be spoken about. If that's what you got from that tweet, then you're just wrong. You're just wrong.
That's a fair take, bro. Especially because he's a father. I think he just wants the best for his kid. And I think that's an okay opinion to have, no? Right? And I think with that clip, the original tweet just makes much more sense, right?
I just simply feel that I want to be the one and my wife wants to be the one to speak with our child about stuff like that.
And that is 100% fair, right? What he's saying is like, hey, leave the little children alone. I don't think school and I don't think teachers should be the one talking to my kid about this. I want me and my wife to be the one to talk to my kid about this. Which is 100% a fair take. And the same shit goes for something like sex ed. If you want to be the one to talk about it with your kid, then you can do that. And like, I really don't know why this escalated. Why it's best not to say anything, especially nowadays. But why? Why should you let society restrict you and not let you, express your own opinion? I think if you want to talk about something, if you're educated on a topic enough and you think you've developed an understanding of it and an opinion of it, you should be able to talk about that opinion without being like, oh, some tweeters may not like this or whatever the fuck. No, you should just say it, motherfucker. Like, if you believe in something, then just say it. Like, and I don't know, the phrasing, especially nowadays, is just kind of like sad, man. It's kind of sad, bro. Speaking of shit going downhill, and especially nowadays, Twitch streamers don't make money. So in order for me to make money, at the top of the hour, there's a Chad Reguez said, they're trying to recruit them though. Why is it important that you teach kids about this law? I don't think it's important to teach kids about it. It's a very like weird topic, right? You can't like hide the existence of gay people from like children. But also, how do you like explain that properly and shit, right?
My wife and I just had a baby. Brand new father. We seen these kinds of videos. It's sad, But her and I agree that we want to be the ones to talk to our kid about things like that.
Is that all he said? Okay, if that is all he said, if this is the tweet he said, then that's what he said on the stream. And he gets shit for this, and his skin gets removed from Call of Duty. How retarded is that? He didn't do anything wrong! Alright, but then after all of that, Call of Duty would tweet out, due to recent events, we have removed the quote-unquote nickmercs operator bundle from the Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone store. We are focused on celebrating Pride with our employees in our community. What does this even mean? We are focused on celebrating Pride with our employees in our community. What does that have to do with anything? Who cares? What? Who gives a fuck, man? Oh my god. Obviously, Activision and Call of Duty have every single right to fucking remove their operator or their bundle or whatever the fuck. They have the full rights to do anything they fucking want because it's their game and their shit. Okay, but after Call of Duty would make this tweet, Tim the Tapman would make his own tweet. nickmercs has been my friend for years. We went in getting our COD operators together. It feels wrong for me to have mine and him no longer have his. In support of my friend, please remove the Tim the Tapman bundle at Call of Duty. And shortly thereafter, Tim the Tapman's operator bundle has officially been removed from the Call of Duty, Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone store. Activision statements on the matter. Quote, at Tim's request, we have removed the Tim the Tapman operator bundle from the Modern Warfare 2 and the Warzone store. End quote. Tim the Tapman responds to nickmercs drama. Pog.
I'm sure a lot of you saw what happened with Nick yesterday. So I'm gonna just say this at the front, man. I love Nick. I talked to him for about 30 minutes last night.
I just want you to know, I beat off.
I know him, bro.
When you stream.
And I truly do not think he meant to hurt anyone with what he said. We talked for a while last night and he's doing all right. That's all I can really say on it, man. That's all I'm really going to say on it. All right.
Dr. Disrespect would respond to Call of Duty removing nickmercs' skin.
That Call of Duty, Activision made the decision to pull nickmercs' skin and bundle off the game. I mean, he's one of us. He's one of us streamers, right? I mean, to get your own skin and bundle and that whole collaboration on the biggest shooter franchise out there and be one of the first to do it in Call of Duty, that's such a massive accomplishment, you know? And he worked hard, years and years, built a nice community. That's a tough one. For what again? So what I gotta do? What we gotta do?
He's gonna uninstall the game. Yo, Giga
Is
Chad.
uninstall the game. Number one. I mean, don't get a mistake. In this year's Call of Duty is the worst in its franchise. But that decision by COD's PR marketing team. I'll tell you right now, man. That's a tough one.
Can say not wrong or whatever. I just think the phrasing and like what he's it's just kind of weird. Like I don't know. Bad timing on a violent clip. Yeah.
Chat.
I think so too. Especially yeah. It's like you could have also you could have said this in such a better way. And I think the way he responds to this on his stream in clips definitely like makes this point much better. But if you took this with no context, this just kind of looks bad. Like, it doesn't look terrible. People obviously made this a way bigger deal than it really was. Here's my take. It also depends what you mean, right? If, like, LGBT shit comes up in school, then the school should teach about it. Like, you can't, like, hide the existence of gay people, right? I mean, I was gonna talk about, like, teenagers and shit. But, he's talking about little children, so I don't think he means teenagers, right? Because for, like, teenagers, right? I think 100% it's okay to teach, like, LGBT shit to, like, teenagers, right? Especially with shit like sex ed and, like, consent and shit. Talking about, like, gay people and, like, lesbian people or whatever the fuck and, like, those types of relationships and dynamics, I think are important. When I was a kid, right? But I was basically taught some people have a mommy and a daddy. Some people have 2 daddies and some people have 2 mommies. Right? And I think it's a very simple way to like teach kids about this shit, right? Because it makes sense. It doesn't like, you know, it's not like like gay people, you know what I mean? And it's like I don't know. No, you weren't taught an agenda was pushed against you as a kid. It's okay to teach it to teenagers. Especially when you're teaching kids or teenagers, sorry, about shit like sex ed, consent, and relationships. It's not like gay people should be like #1 priority on that list, right? But if someone's like, hey, what about gay people? Like, you shouldn't like restrict that. You know what I mean? You should leave children alone. You should leave the kids alone, right? I stand with nickmercs, whatever the fuck, right? And I think you do, right? Because there are certain topics that you just shouldn't push to children. To children. He's talking about kids. Obviously, no shit. You shouldn't push. Bro. When do you get taught about the Second World War? I don't know. When you're like 10. Like what? You're not a 5-year-old, and the teacher's like, yeah, so World War II happened, and then there's this guy called Hitler. Like, what the fuck? Like, yeah, no shit. There's a fucking curriculum, and it goes like, you know, the older you get, the more like sophisticated topics you learn, and like, I don't know. There's nothing wrong with this tweet. The only weird thing about this tweet is how it's replying to like violence shit or whatever the fuck. And like maybe that's the thing people had issue with. And the actual tweet sure, it can take people the wrong way, but I think after this fucking 5-second clip, I think there's enough context for you to understand that's not what he meant at all. And I have no fucking idea why it's such a big deal, and like people, I don't know, people get stomached over it. There's a 1 hour unlocked. No, chat, we're moving on, bro.